And we begin with some breaking news inputs coming in from the Ghazni province in Afghanistan, where a blast has rocked the University of Ghazni. Here's what we know so far. The explosion happened in the Police District 3 in Ghazni city and has left 23 students injured. Reports indicate that the blast targeted the literature wing of the University of Ghazni. The wounded students have been taken to Ghazni's provincial hospital. No casualties have been reported so far, and we are still awaiting more inputs at this stage from the ground. Meanwhile, the Taliban in Afghanistan have now released 3 Indian engineers who they were holding hostage in exchange for the release of their 11 top militant members. The engineers working at a power station were abducted by the Taliban in the month of May last year. They were part of a group of 7 people who had been abducted from a village located in the northern Baghlan province of Afghanistan. The prisoner swap was done in the early hours of Sunday at an undisclosed location. This prisoner exchange comes after a meeting between U.S. Special Envoy to Afghanistan, Zalmay Khalilzad, and Taliban's leaders. The U.S. and the Taliban, which returned to the negotiating table for talks hosted by Pakistan, had agreed to swap prisoners. The freed Afghan Taliban includes prominent leaders like Sheikh Abdul Rahim and Maulvi Abdul Rashid. India's foreign ministry had earlier thanked the Afghan government for the release and repatriation of the Indian nationals. Apart from the 3 Indians, 1 Australian and 1 U.S. citizen too will be released. On the 7th of October back in the year 2001, George W. Bush invaded Afghanistan to topple the Taliban regime. It was intentioned to be a short war, but little did George Bush imagine that he was dragging the United States headfirst into its longest war in history. But the biggest price has been paid by the young generation of Afghanis who have grown up under the shadow of George Bush's war on terror. This report tells you more.
The 9/11 attacks of 2001 on the World Trade Towers in New York changed the course of modern history. The U.S. response was immediate and brutal.
Every nation in every region now has a decision to make. Either you are with us or you are with the terrorists.
This was the beginning of the United States' war on terror, which has dragged on to this day with still no clear signs of it coming to an end. In its limited success, the US-led troops toppled the Taliban from Kabul by 17th December 2001 and also built several military bases across the country. Expelled from Kabul, the Taliban hit back with insurgency. By 2006, it had managed to significantly claw back to reassert itself. And since then, it's a war of attrition that has played out in a country which has often been referred to as a graveyard of empires. A whole new generation has grown up which has witnessed nothing but war.
I'm imagining peace in a photo which is full of happiness, non-discrimination, and a photo which is full of happiness which comes from education. And a photo which is people are not blaming everything on each other. They are just responsible for themselves, for their country.
The kids who have grown up in the last 18 years have little hope of things improving anytime soon. The human cost of war has been immense. But the youth of Afghanistan are hoping that things change for the better.
To those who are in power, my message to them is to try not to create division and only work for the prosperity of our country. Discrimination is not working. Just be united in order to lead our country.
United States under Donald Trump remains committed to the idea of withdrawal from Afghanistan. About 15,000 US troops are still stationed in the country, but US Special Representative Zalmay Khalilzad has been holding negotiations with the Taliban. It's hard to predict if peace will be established once the US withdraws. But another generation of Afghani children have come of age without knowing what peace is. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.